Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. It's been quite light and fluffy this morning on the show, so we thought we'd bring you crashing down to earth and have quite a serious chat now. We'll take the edge off, of course, Tito Mboweni's maiden budget speech. He had to step into a position that I fear very few people would have liked to have done. Putting into context where South Africa is, I think we are all feeling the pinch financially at the moment. To find out the hits, the misses, what he's given, what he's taken away, and maybe a little bit about the aloe that we saw featuring. Joining us this morning is one man who was there to take it all in, CEO of Zeridium, Tax and Exchange Control Advisors, Mr. Anthony Chait. Anthony, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yesterday, I think a lot of people were like holding their breath a little bit because
I think I'm still holding my breath.
What did Minister Mboweni, what was his take on the current state of the economy in South Africa?
Hi guys. I think that it was gloomy as we all picked up for two reasons. Our rate of economic growth is still very slow. He mentioned it was 0.7%, and they thought that it would improve, but it hasn't. And then, of course, the money that is being taken to prop up our state-owned enterprises, so the Eskom's, SABC, SAA, and to a lesser extent, Denel, that's also draining on the fiscal resources in terms of the guarantees that are required.
Before we look at the bigger picture, because that obviously affects our industry, like many industries out there, but obviously a very necessary step forward, let's look at the individual. What has he given and what has he taken away? What can we expect? So
last year was the year of the bitter medicine. We saw personal tax rates go up, the top marginal rate from 41 to 45%. That, of course, we recall went up from 14 to 15. So this year, he was relatively easy on our pockets. Some slight relief in terms of personal income tax at the lower end of the scale, relief from inflation because our salaries are revised in terms of the cost of living. At the top end of the scale, there was no relief at all. So there the minister's relying on the fact that inflation puts people into a higher bracket, so-called bracket creep. And some 12.8 billion rand is expected to be collected in that way.
So does that translate to less of a tax impact on that higher bracket than you would have maybe expected?
Yes.
Feared?
Well, the fear was, of course, the increase in the rates themselves, and that hasn't happened. So that, from that point of view, it is good news.
Yeah. And then as far as the country is concerned, I think a lot of people have been concerned with regards to Eskom. What did the minister put in place to help them? So
what was announced in the SONA, the president's SONA just a week or so back, is the restructuring of Eskom into 3 separate units. And the minister announced a restructuring official who will oversee this process. And but from a point of view of the money side, I think it was acknowledged that 43 billion per year during this restructuring process will need to be spent.
Okay. What is the way forward? Was there a silver lining, a glimmer of hope? Was there a positive underpinning in any way?
I think what the minister said was that in terms of economic growth from a macro point of view, the technical recession in the world was coming to an end. So we can see our growth rates rising in the first short-term period to 1.5%, which is a lot better than the 0.7%, and then on to 2.1% thereafter. So, and then improving revenue collections, a lot of focus was spent on the restructuring of SARS following the Nugent Commission, and that should improve tax collections.
It felt like an honest assessment, which is fantastic and what we want to hear. But I know it affects you on a whole different level. So thank you so much for exploring some of those elements with us. And all the best of luck over the next financial year, the next fiscal. Thank you so much. Hopefully next time we bring you in, we'll be able to share even more positive news. But thank you so much, Anthony.
Hopefully so.